Hello, everyone. Welcome. So this week we're going to go ahead and go over chapter 9. Apologize for how I look. I'm not feeling my best, but the show must go on, and I have to do this video and teach you all because I can't just leave you all hanging. This week is going to be a little bit different. These next few chapters in the next coming weeks are going to be very dense, very thick. This is going to be pretty much the bulk of the material. Everything that we've been learning about listening, nonverbal, our words, this is all leading to how about our relationships, how we communicate in our relationships. So chapter 9, I'm going to go ahead and divide into 2 different videos. To spare you all from like a 20-minute, 25-minute video. I still might even do that with these 2 different videos because there's so much context and so much material. So I'm going to record both videos. And that way, you can watch video 1, step away, go get a snack, and come back to the video 2 later. You can watch both videos in one setting. I just kind of wanted to break it up so that way it's more digestible for you. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Just bear with me. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Okay. So chapter 9, which is communication and relational dynamics. Okay. So in this chapter, we don't define the concept of a relationship, okay? But instead, we are looking at relational dynamics and how communication operates as people form, manage, and sometimes end their relationships. So, what makes us seek relationships with some people and not with others? Sometimes we don't have a choice, like with our family or even your job. You can't choose your own boss most of the time. But in other cases, we seek out people and actively avoid others. So there are some factors researchers have identified that influence our choice of relational partners. Appearance is one of them. This one seems pretty obvious at the beginning of the relationship, and I'm usually going to be saying this from the context of a romantic relationship, but some of these factors do play with like friendships, but it's pretty obvious. The beginning of the relationship, you have to be attracted to that person. There just has to be some level of attractiveness. You are attracted to that person, and that person is attracted to you. But physical factors, they kind of become less important as a relationship progresses. I'm sure you've seen this in movies, you read this, you date someone who you think is like really, really hot. You go on a date with them and then you realize, oh, wait, they're rude to the waiter. They're rude to the staff. Someone, you don't really have like an intellectual connection with, or someone who is just not a very nice person. Doesn't matter that you think they're very attractive. If they're not a good person, you probably won't be continuing that relationship. So that's where appearance comes into play. Another one is similarity. Should seem like another obvious. Researchers confirm that we like people who are similar to us. But also researchers show that similarities in key important areas is what leads to a successful relationship. So how I like to say is think of the big stuff: politics, life goals. Do you want kids? How do you want your marriage to be? Do you even want to get married? Religion, all of this stuff comes into play. So while you can all agree on the big stuff, it really won't matter that, you don't like country music, but your partner does. Those little things won't really matter as long as you are similar on the big stuff. And there are other factors, and I just thought I just can't really get into all of them because that's just going to be a really long video and I don't want to do that. But there are some other factors on why we form relationships. So complementary factors. So complement is when we, complement each other, we balance each other. Excuse me, I'm having problems with my slide here. Whoops. I don't know what's happening. I apologize. Okay, we're back. So complementary factors. This is when you complement each other, balance each other out. This is how I like to think of it. For an example, some relationships work well when partners agree that one person will exercise control in other areas. So for example, a married couple, one person will control the finances, but the other person will exercise control in different areas. Okay, you manage the finances, but I decorate the house or I manage our social calendar. That's where complementary comes into play. Reciprocal attraction, we like people who like us. Usually this boosts our self-esteem, which is why this helps us form relationships. If we find out someone is interested in us, that usually increases our chances of liking that person at the initial stage. Competence. So the textbook says this is a balance of like being too talented and not being too talented. So for example, you want to be around people who are usually kind of on your same level, whether that's, intellectually, educational, or even communication wise. You don't want to be with someone who's like, at least according to the research, you don't want to be with someone who's like a complete like genius. You're like, oh, that's too much. How I like to think of this competence is also a balance of skills, of relationship skills. You want to be with someone who can handle relationship, who's a good friend, who can communicate well, who's kind. That's how I like to think of competence. It's just a balance of those skills between, being manageable, being good at it versus being terrible at it. Disclosure means revealing information about yourself. So disclosure actually plays a very important role as relationships develop beyond the first initial stages. We will explain this. I will go over this in the next video. But there is a relationship model that describes different stages. And disclosure helps us evolve from those first initial stages. Proximity, space, we're likely to develop relationships with people who we interact frequently with, which is why, usually we date people who go to the same school as us, same college as us, maybe we work with them. This also applies to online relationships or maintaining your relationships, because online, whether it's social media, online dating, Zoom, all of these different things, we have the option to speak frequently with somebody. So that helps with our relationships. And then rewards. Rewards is a factor, the last factor why we form relationships. Some rewards may be tangible, so like a nice place to live, financial security. Others are intangible, so prestige, if you're marrying someone from a different class, which unfortunately is actually still a thing today. Or even emotional support, having a life partner. That's usually the main reason why people want to not even get married, just find their person, is to find a partner to experience life with. So that's usually one of the rewards on why we form relationships. Okay. Brief intermission. I'm going to go ahead and stop this video right here. There is still a whole other section of this slide, but there's a lot of material. So I'm going to stop it here. Go ahead, take a snack, walk away, stretch, or watch the next video right after this one. It is completely up to you. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to pause right here. I will upload this first video, but I will also upload the second video. I will see you in the next video.